Hi, everybody. So today we are doing my next in my list of my top 100 favorite movies of all time. We are nearing the finish line. This is the penultimate episode, and we are talking about my number 20 through 11. So these are very high up there. Some of my most favorite movies of all time. There you go. And I'm really excited to talk about them. So let's start. Number 20. I have Lawrence of Arabia. And I feel like a lot of times movies that are heralded as classics, I respect more than I love. And, something like A Gone with the Wind or even A Citizen Kane, which I do really like both of those films. Citizen Kane more than Gone with the Wind, but it's not one that I love, and that would make my favorites. It might be the best, but not my favorite. But Lawrence of Arabia was one that I saw and I genuinely loved. I just thought Lawrence as a character was so fascinating and so interesting, and he was very unpredictable. I didn't know what he was going to do as a character, which I really appreciated. Peter O'Toole was amazing in the role. It was sad, it was funny, it was adventurous. It had kind of everything that you could want: the cinematography, the music. There's some brown face, which is unfortunate, but Omar Sharif is so great in it as well. I don't know, I just really, really enjoyed it, and I thought this is a classic that lives up to the name and is a true classic. And it was so fun to get to see it on the big screen when they did the Silver Screen Classic series at the Megaplex here. So I really loved Lawrence of Arabia. Podcast me and Christine about Lawrence of Arabia, so you have to check it out. Okay, number 19, I have Scrooge. This is my favorite version of Christmas Carol. It's from 1951, and it stars Al Star Sim as Scrooge, and he does a really good job, I think, playing Scrooge. It's definitely one of the sort of more sarcastic versions of Scrooge, but that works for me. This movie is beautifully made. It's beautifully shot. I love the story of Christmas Carol, and I love Scrooge, and so it definitely had to make my list. And I think that the backstory that they go with, I think actually works really well. I think it explains Scrooge's motivation really well, and I don't know, I just really enjoy it. So it's my number 19. Number 18, I have Inside Out. I loved Inside Out so much. I think it's a movie that just gets deeper and deeper the more I think about it. The more you think about the dual journeys of Riley and Joy, and how I think Joy learned that happiness didn't equal fun. And it took her so long to learn that I think it was really earned when she finally is in that pit of memories and she realizes that happiness is more of a rich experience, and it was just so moving to me, so beautiful. I love the animation, I love the music, I think it's funny, with disgust and with anger, and I think it has brilliant sequences, like the Chamber of Abstract Thought was brilliant. I think the way everything's kind of being deconstructed as they go. I think the Islands of Personality were brilliant. And just to see sort of Riley be this person that is just kind of dying inside, and just getting, when she speaks to her class and she starts to cry, and then her just becoming increasingly more closed off until she gets on that bus. And it's just, I don't know, I just love it. I think it's brilliant. And so 18, I have Inside Out. Number 17, I have Juno, and I love Juno. I think it is so funny. I just love Diablo Coda's writing. I think that Ellen Page is so good. I love the interactions with Michael Cera. I think are really funny and true. I like her and her best friend, I think, are good. I love J.K. Simmons and Allison Sweeney as the parents. I think they are hilarious. I think that Jennifer Garner does a great job playing this woman who you immediately judge as being kind of you kind of judge her as being sort of a yuppie, and yet by the end of the movie, you realize that she's actually a really good person. And same with the Jason Bateman character, like you like him at first, but then you kind of realize he's a loser. And so I think that that's really well done. I think that it has moments of real heart when she's trying to decide what to do with the baby, and when she realizes the problems with this marriage, that she's so invested in. And I don't know, it's just a lovely movie, and I think it has a really lovely message in the end, and I think it's moving and it's so funny, and I just love it. So Juno is number 17. Number 16 for me is Clueless. Clueless is such like an iconic movie for me in my life. It's a movie that just still makes me laugh. I just saw it in the theater the other day. It was released my freshman year of high school, and I thought it was so hilarious then, and I still think it's hilarious now. I love Cher's dad. Every scene of her with him is so funny. I love Paul Rudd. He's the best. And this was my introduction to him. I think that they do such a good job of not only telling the story of Emma in modern times, but also making characters like Dion and Cher that are usually going to be unlikable because they're like the popular kids, the rich kids, whatever. But in this case, they make them very likable, and you really feel for Cher. At least I do. And I think Brittany Murphy's really fun as Ty. I think there are moments of heart. But it's really things like the Haitian scenes. Anytime in the debate, it's hilarious. I don't know. I just love it. Reviewed it for Family Movie Night just a couple of weeks ago, so you have to check that out. So number 16, Clueless. Number 15, I have, I think, basically my favorite comedy of all time. I have Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This movie is so funny. I know it's like overquoted to death, but it's just hilarious. The Knights that say nin, and the brave the brave knight. He's like losing all his limbs, and he's like, "What are you, a coward?" I don't know. I think it's super funny, and so yeah, it just plays on all of those sort of tropes of like Robin Hood and King Arthur and stuff like that. Hero stories is really what it's making fun of, and they do such a great job with it. So Monty Python and Holy Grail, number 15. Number 14, I have Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is just about a perfect movie. It's got great heart. The journey of the kids, but also the journey of the dad, Mr. Banks, as he learns to appreciate what he has in his life and not be so focused on money, is really moving and lovely. And the songs are, of course, amazing by the Sherman Brothers. The really fun songs, Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but also the really sweet songs like Feed the Birds. And you also have just delightful sequences like the animated sequences. Dick Van Dyke is so great. Even though he has a cheesy accent, I still just love him so much. Julie Andrews, just iconic, amazing. And yeah, I mean, I really can't think of any flaws except for that maybe the accent. It's just great. The Chim Chimney song is amazing. The dance sequence is so great. So I have Mary Poppins at 14. Number 13, I have All About Eve. This movie, I think, has just about a perfect script. It's so funny and true and like tense at times, and just perfect. The sisters are incredible. Betty Davis, Ann Baxter, George Sanders. I love George Sanders in this. Celeste Holm. They're all incredible. You got a little cameo from Marilyn Monroe in this. It's beautifully shot, beautifully made. All About Eve, number 13. Number 12, I have The Sound of Music. The Sound of Music, I just love. I love all the music from Rodgers and Hammerstein. I love Maria as a character. I love the chemistry between Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer. I love the The I mean, it's just a super romantic movie, but I also love the interactions between Maria and the kids. I think is really sweet and lovely, and I love all the songs. And yeah, it's just a great movie as far as I'm concerned. So I have that at number 12. And then finally, my last one, number 11, I have It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life is an incredible movie about that we all the reach that we all have in our little ways, and what a difference we can make. And it's definitely like a fable. I don't think that the world would turn into some kind of hellhole just because I died, unfortunately, or hadn't been born. But I think maybe it'd be a tiny bit different. But it's a really good fable, I think. And Jimmy Stewart is so great. Frank Capra does such a great job directing this movie. I have great chemistry with Donna Reed. It's really, really moving. I love Clarence so much. And just when he realizes, I think it's deliberately, it actually makes sense that it's deliberately over the top because Clarence is trying to convince, if it was just like a tiny bit different, then that wouldn't serve the purpose that the angel's trying to do. So it makes sense. And it's a great movie, obviously at Christmas, but I think even year round. And it's about the difference that we all make in each other's lives. And so that's why I have it at number 11. So there you go. That is my 20 through 11. I have at number 11, I have It's a Wonderful Life. Number 12, The Sound of Music. Number 13, All About Eve. Number 14, Mary Poppins. 15, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Number 16, Clueless. Number 17, Juno. Number 18, Inside Out. Number 19, Scrooge. And number 20, Lawrence of Arabia. So I think if you watched all 10 of these movies, you'd be sitting pretty. You'd really be enjoying yourself. So let me know what you think. And thanks so much. Please subscribe to my channel. I'll talk to you later. Bye.